Okay, for our first lesson, we're going to take a look at pentatonic substitution. Now, I'm not going to dive too deeply into this subject because it is quite a complex subject and is worth a whole lesson study on its own. But basically, I just want to put into practice some of the ideas that we covered in Fretboard Navigator Volume 1, where we were looking at shifting through various positions of the pentatonic scale. Now, there's a little bit of a rule that when you're playing over a minor chord, you can actually play a minor pentatonic a fifth above that chord. Now, this will work on chords that are based on the second degree and on the sixth degree of the major scale. I wouldn't do this from the third degree. It will kind of clash and just won't sound right. So all I'm doing here is I'm just using the A minor 7th chord because we were looking at our A minor pentatonic scale. Obviously, we'd looked at that in every position. So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up the neck. Sometimes the pentatonic scale can sound, a little bit predictable. There's nothing wrong with it. I've had many discussions with students over the years of whether or not the scale is an incredibly useful scale, or whether it's the lazy guitarist crutch, if you like, and they use it just as a way to limp through soloing, especially the A minor pentatonic. I'd always advise anyone to make sure that they take these scales and play them in all 12 keys. But although the pentatonic can be quite predictable, it is an incredibly musical scale. Most modern music that you listen to is based around it in some shape or form. But we can also add a little bit of colour to the sound of a solo just by, like I said, playing a pentatonic a fifth above. Let's take a look at the A minor pentatonic first of all, starting off from the 5th fret. If we look at the notes, we've got A, C, D, E, G, and A. Now those notes over our minor 7th chord are root, flat 3rd, 4th, 5th, flat 7th, and root. Now, if I play an E minor pentatonic, which, as I said, is a pentatonic a fifth above, the way that you find it a fifth above, play your root note and play 5 major scale notes up from that. Do, re, mi, fa, sol. So there we have E, which is a fifth. So if I play an E minor pentatonic scale, we have the notes of E, G, A, B, D, and E. And let's look at those notes in relationship to the minor 7th, the A minor 7th chord. E is the 5th, G is the minor 7th, A is the root. All of those notes are in our A minor pentatonic scale, but we have this extra note, which is the note of B, which in relationship to A is a 2nd or a 9th. So it's quite a nice note to include when you're soloing. It's a very musical note. Adds a nice kind of flavour to the sound of a melody. So there's the B notes. Then we have D, which is the 4th, which is also in the scale. Now, a little exercise, or our first little exercise, would be to try and keep things nice and positional. So remember how, from Fretboard Navigator Volume 1, how the little lesson in how to identify your scales, and it's to look at them around the cage chords. If I'm playing A minor pentatonic from this minor chord, which is the E shape, when I go to play E minor, I'm going to use that root note, which is the root note to the C minor shape. So what we have is this, A minor. And now I'm going to come down E minor, but based around that C minor shape. So, okay, so ascend A minor, descend E minor. So shape 1 of A minor and shape 3 of E minor. Here I go, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 16th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's change position now. And here's shape number 2 of the A minor pentatonic scale. We're going to ascend that. So that's based around the D minor. I'm playing minor 7th variations on these chords just for colour and for own personal preference, but you know, you can still view them as being you know, your regular minor cage shapes. So there's the D minor shape, which is based around, we base shape 2 around that. And then the E minor chord is our A minor shape, which is shape 4 of the E minor pentatonic. So ascend shape 2 of the A minor pentatonic and then descend shape 4 of the E minor. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Okay, 16th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can hear that sounds really lovely over the top of the A minor 7th or A minor 9 chord, whichever extension you want to play. Okay, shape number 3 of the A minor pentatonic is based around the C shape. And we're going to be using shape 5 of the E minor, which is based around the G shape. So I'm going to ascend shape 3 of A minor and descend shape number 5 of E minor. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 16th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the next pattern that we're going to look at is going to be shape number 4 of the A minor, which is based around the A minor 7th or A minor movable chord voicing. And we're also going to look at shape number 1 of the E minor, which is based around the E shape. So ascend shape 4 of A minor pentatonic and descend shape 1 of E minor. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and... Sixteenths. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, our next position, our final position we're going to look at, we're going to go and we're going to ascend shape number 5 of the A minor pentatonic, which is the G shape. We base that around the G minor shape, or that, or minor 7th. And we're going to descend E minor, and that's going to be around a D minor shape, which is shape number 2. So ascend shape number 5 of the A minor and descend shape number 2 of E minor. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's a very, very useful little bit of fretboard navigation there. Even if you don't view it in that way, you just view it as being the A minor pentatonic with an additional note. It's entirely up to you. But I just love the freedom of being able to ascend a line and include that extra little bit of movement and harmony by just adding that B note. You can take that B note and bend into our C note. Adds a really nice quality to the sound. Okay, we're going to take a look at another little sequence for you. Very, very similar to the last one that we just looked at. And for this little run, I suppose I was inspired slightly by Eric Johnson on this. Not saying that this sounds anything like him, but it's maybe a similar sort of approach to mixing up the scales as he might take. We're going to ascend up the A minor pentatonic from shape number 1. And then we're going to descend shape 4 of E minor. Ascend shape 3 of A minor. Descend shape 1 of E minor. And then ascend shape 5 of A minor. Okay, here we go at 8th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's play that a little more up to speed using 16ths. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time, a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, one more little idea. Obviously, you can see that the possibilities are endless with this technique, so I'll leave it entirely up to you to, have a go at mixing these scale shapes around and, trying to come up with some licks of your own, if you like. There's one other little lick that I'd like to touch on, which we kind of looked at something similar in volume 1 of Fretboard Navigator, which was a little tapping lick whereby I played an A minor pentatonic shape number, I think it was shape number 1, and then I tapped down shape 3. So you got something like this. Which adds, it's quite an interesting sound, and if, like me, you're not much of an alternate picker, then this can be quite a nice way to get nice smooth sequences. I often, use other techniques to recreate the sounds of other techniques, if that makes sense. If I can't pick through, say, for instance, an arpeggio sequence, I might use sweeping and tapping as a way to get through it. And it's not, technique for technique's sake. I just try to use techniques to get the job done, if you like. That's why I really admire a guitar player called Greg Howe, because you listen to Greg's playing and it's very hard to actually distinguish the techniques. It's not like, oh, here's a picking lick, here's a sweep picking lick, here's a legato lick. It's just, he just plays, and sometimes you'll hear something and then you'll see him play it live and you're like, oh, I didn't realise you tapped that whole run. I thought it was, maybe a 3-note per string legato thing, but he'll be, substituting one of the fingers on this hand with tapping because he'll find that a smoother way to achieve the run. So, however you get the job done, I always think that's, that's fine. And I think that's how we, develop our own individual sound and style to, do things our own way. So this little lick I'm going to show you is pretty straightforward, but again, it's a great way of utilising a few positions on the neck, and that's where this whole kind of idea of fretboard navigation really comes into play. I'm going to use shape number 1 of the A minor pentatonic, but I'm going to include shape number 1 of the E minor pentatonic. So you'll get something like this. We'll tap 15 on the top E, pull off 8, pull off 5, and then tap 12 on the top E, pull off 5, and then hammer 8 on the B string. So, and then we'll tap 15 and pull off 8, pull off 5 on the B, tap 12 on the B, pull off 5, hammer 7, tap 14, pull off 7 and 5, tap 12, pull off 5, hammer 7 on the D, tap 14, pull off 7, 5, tap 12 on the D, pull off 5, hammer 7, tap 14, pull off 7, pull off 5, tap 12, pull off 5, hammer 8, and then tap 15, pull off 8, pull off 5, tap 12, pull off 5, slide to 3, and then hammer 5. So you get something like this. And we can also use other shapes of the pentatonic. My favourite one that I use is shape 1, and then I use the pentatonic a fifth above. I play shape number 5, which sounds kind of like this. Exactly the same formula for the run, or the lick, should I say, but I'm playing 12, 10, 12, 10, 12, 9, 12, 9, 12, 10, 12, 10, 12, 10, sorry. Here we go. And you could play any shape you like. Play that one more time. See, I'm just, like I said, using these scale shapes that we've mapped out around chord shapes, you know, to be able to link scales together. Okay, there's one last idea that I'd like to share with you on the pentatonic scale. As I said, this is just a slight continuation on from the tail end of our previous DVD and lesson. And this idea is, it's kind of a bizarre one. It's a way of looking at the scales, and as opposed to just kind of playing one note after another, we actually play some bizarre little barring ideas with our third finger. And I quite like it because you're moving intervallically, you're moving in fourths, and we can actually take this whole pattern and negotiate ourselves a little route through several positions of the pentatonic scale. I actually play this with hybrid picking, so the second finger of my picking hand, I use that to pick the note on the adjacent string. So you don't have to pick it like that. You could use like a sweep picking, but I prefer the sound that I get when I use my second finger. So the lick's going to pass through shape number 3, 4, then 5. See there, that really being able to utilise shifting through various positions of the scale. Remember back in our first pentatonic lesson, we looked at a scale shape or a scale run that actually moved 3, 5, 3, 5, 7, 5, 7, 9, 8, 10, 8, 10, 12. Which, you know, so this is a similar idea, but includes the barring technique, and because of that fourth interval, it's slightly more modern sound. So the lick goes like so. We play 10, 12, and then we play 12 on the D string, back to 12, and then pull off 10. So, and we finish off by hammering back on from 10 to 12. So 10, 12, 12 on the A, 12 on the E, 10 on the E, and 12 on the E. And now we drop that down and play exactly the same thing on the D and the A, on the A and the D strings. So 10, 12, 12, 12, 10, 12. Do the same thing on the D and the G. 10, 12, 12, 12, 10, 12. So far we've just descended shape number 3 of the A minor pentatonic in a slightly unusual fashion. I love that little rolling idea. And then we shift from one shape. So once we do the 10, 12, 12, 12, pull off 10, now slide up to 12 and hammer 14, and then play 14 on the G, back to 14 on the D, pull off 12, slide up to 14 on the D, hammer 17 and play 17 on the G, back to 17 on the D, pull off 14 and then slide up to 17. So I'll do that section nice and slowly. I now cheat, I must confess. I don't actually stick within the strict fingering of the minor pentatonic because it's a little awkward. So what I actually include is the F sharp note here on the B string, which is the sixth, which comes from the Dorian scale, which is something that we're going to be looking at in this lesson anyway. And it just enables me to keep the same finger shape across the strings. That's the long and the short of it. So a little bit of cheating going on. So a little bit of artistic license never hurt anybody. So we go 17, 19 on the D, and then 19 on the G. Back to 19 on the D, 17 on the D, 19. Now do the same thing on the G and the B. So 17, 19, 19, 19. 17, 19, and now on the B and the E we play 17, 20, 20, 20, 17. So, but we can then slide this down. So we drop down to 15, 17, 17, 17, 15, slide up. So you get something like this at the end. Okay, across the whole pattern. That's a lovely little run. One more time, here we go, 2, 3, 4. And it really, like I said, it's quite an unusual sound, and I like the fact that you're, using the finger picking in the, because it just adds another percussive. Just a little percussive element to your playing.